The branding is up, the station names are too, and the beautiful exterior designs uncovered. And from above, this is Maungawhau Mount Eden Station. It looks pretty much close to opening. Even underground, the tunnels have long been finished. This here was the final breakthrough that was more than 2 years ago. And since then, the tracks have been laid and the test trains have been running, and yet the City Rail link won't be open until sometime next year, likely the latter half. So why is it taking so long?
There's a lot of different components to systems, building management systems, ventilation, security, communications, lighting, you name it. They're in each of the stations in their complex, and then it's all the testing of that to make sure it's all working and they all work well together.
Patrick Brocky is giving us a tour of the Karanga-Ahape station, one of 3 new ones on the network, and it's the deepest, 40 metres, and it feels deep with these huge columns and supports holding back the earth. Construction here has been long and challenging.
I've been coming to the site for quite a while on a regular basis, and the interior was covered in scaffolding. You couldn't see the walls, you couldn't see the ceilings, and that was just the nature of the work. It was complex and intense. But now that scaffolding's been removed in the last few months, you can see what probably called the ugly duckling turn into a swan.
But that swan still needs a lot of work. The tracks are fenced off at each platform for safety reasons. There are pavers to go down and be grouted. There's miles and miles of cables and pipes and sensors to install and connect and test, including 5G. There's cladding, there's lighting, ticketing machines and gates, and even things like underfloor hearing loops, so those with hearing aids can hear the announcements. Then there's the elevators and escalators, and not just any escalators. These escalators are the longest escalators in New Zealand. They're nearly the longest escalators in the Southern Hemisphere, although they're just beaten by a few metres by some in Australia. And when they stop working, there are 102 steps all the way to the top. And I know that because I've just done it. That's why I'm puffing.
There are over 16,000 tests that we have to run during that testing and commissioning phase of the systems. We're about just under a quarter of the way through that, so you can tell we've still got a fair way to go.
A lot of it will never be seen by the public. Random corridors of plant rooms, endless pipes and cables overhead, and vital emergency systems. If there's a fire down in the tunnels, this massive contraption sucks out all of the smoke. This is a big fan in here. There are 12 of them across the City Rail link, and this is not even the biggest. It's not just the construction and commissioning of the new stations and new rail tunnels that are the reason for the lengthy wait, but the state of the existing infrastructure.
The CRL has actually triggered a whole of network change essentially for KiwiRail and how to manage it and everything to allow us to keep an eye on all the train movements around the new network and so on and run through the testing of that. So it's actually been quite a wider scale work than just the project itself.
We're chatting to Bevan Asink at the new Auckland Rail Operations Centre, or AROC. It's where the 3 players come together: KiwiRail, Auckland Transport and Auckland One Rail. Every part of the network can be monitored from here, whether it's CCTV of the stations or the crossings, or this huge live map of which trains are where.
The green is where you see there's signals cleared through stations. So that's Maungawhau Junction station through into the CRL.
So that's Mount Eden, Maungawhau there?
Yes.
That's the new tunnel that goes through to K Road station.
And down into Te Waiharu.
Okay, and then where's, Waitemata.
Yep.
The reason there are dozens of empty desks and screens is to provide space if there's a major sporting event or a major concert or a major accident. It can also control other parts of the country if they go offline. And so while this new control hub is ready to handle the demands of the City Rail link, the same can't be said for parts of the actual train tracks, much of which is more than a century old.
The CRL has been designed as a high performance network and it allows you to run a lot more frequent trains and so on, but the wider network was never designed essentially for that, and that's where we've had to put a lot more time and effort and investment to lifting the whole standard of the wider network to make sure we don't strand the CRL.
That's meant ripping up and reinstalling most of the existing lines with stronger foundations. It's seen the whole network close over long weekends and holiday periods, so that work can be done, and that will continue into next year. And more frequent passenger service means there'll be more congestion with freight trains.
Also part of that was looking at deconflicting some of the freight movements from the passenger movements. So we looked at the third main through from our major port through to Wiri and so on. So there's been lots of different projects that have needed to feed into the overall CRL package to unlock the network.
Then there's the matter of level crossings. 10 will close before the link opens, nearly all of them pedestrian crossings. A further 42 are flagged for removal after the CRL opens. Why? Because there'll be such an increase in train frequency that some level crossings could be closed for up to 40 minutes in every hour at peak times. Auckland Transport is looking how to deal with these. So some big hurdles ahead, but there is some good news.
And are we on budget?
We're still operating within our current funding envelope. Yes, we expect to stay within that funding envelope.
There's also no specific opening date yet. A deliberate choice so the work isn't rushed and the link isn't opened with a raft of hidden problems. Only in opening year, 2026.
It'll definitely be next year, but there's lots of moving parts that we're currently monitoring.
Look, it'll be worth it. It's going to transform Auckland.
Hopefully the next time I'm down here, it's because I'm taking the train.